What's up, YouTube? This is DJ from DJ's Dioramas. Today I'm on dad duty, so I got my little co-anchor with me, my son Bo, and we wanted to talk to you about the painting stages of dioramas. So I have a couple dioramas for you in different stages of painting, and I just wanted to go over how you get to the end result and how you start. So what the foam is going to look like in its pink stage with no paint on it, to black washing, to a almost finished paint job. And we're going to talk about how you can achieve that look and go from there. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of DJ's Dioramas. Thank you. Alright guys, so here it is. I got two different buildings at two different stages of the process. On the right, we have an unpainted, unfinished diorama. The brick's cut, the trim's cut, it's just waiting for paint. On the left, we have a nearly finished paint job. All it needs is a light coat of black washing, and we will go over that. But you can kind of see the different stages from the beginning to the end. Now, what's important to note is before you start putting any colored paint on, you need to run a coat of black paint on your pink foam first. So the right building will get painted all black first. And we do this so all the cracks, all the nooks and crannies of the diorama are covered. Let's just say you started to paint it without painting it black first. If you miss any sort of little spots throughout the diorama, they're going to come through pink. Like you can see the lines in between the brick. If you miss any of that, it's going to come through pink, and it's just going to be a real pain to have to go back and fill in all those little cracks or any nooks and crannies you missed with paint. So it is good practice to make sure you paint your pink foam black before you put any color on it. There's a couple different ways to do this. Now you're going to see plenty of different methods people use to make what is known as black wash. There's tons of different recipes out there. I just water down black paint. I water it down enough to the consistency of almost milk. Some guys add in dish detergent and some other things, but I'm simple. I just keep it black paint with water. And like I said, I get it to around the consistency of milk, maybe a little lighter. I'll put a coat on, see how dark it is, and if I want it to be a little darker, I'll run another coat on. Now, I have these two side by side to mention not only is it important to black wash your piece before you actually put color on it, but after you put color on it, it's also important to black wash it again, in my opinion. As you can see on the left, the one that's near finished paint job, it kind of looks a little cartoony, if you will. The colors kind of pop. It's not really subtle. Now, some people might like this look. Perhaps you want a scene where you're using a more kind of comic-like figure. For example, like the arcade Ninja Turtles from NECA. Those might look good with a more comic-like paint job. So if you like this look, don't put another coat of black wash on it. Now, you want it to be as light as possible. You never want to go hard on the black paint for the final paint job, or you might ruin it. So it is imperative to take a very, very small amount of water and maybe just a couple drops of black paint and test it out first on a piece of foam or a piece of a paper towel or a piece of cardboard, and just kind of see, the consistency of how much of that black paint is being laid down. Because if you go on too thick, you're going to ruin the paint job you just did. So once you put that black wash on the left side's final paint job, it'll just settle the colors together. It'll make it look a little weathered. Later on, we'll go over different kinds of washes. You can use all the colors, brown, green, whatever, but I always think it's important to put a final black wash paint on your finished product, and definitely on your product before you get to painting. Now we're going to head over to the workbench, and I'm just going to go over some of the products I use and kind of get a closer look at these so you can get a better look. So let's go over to the workbench and go over some supplies. So now that we are at the workbench, here are some of the supplies I used for these dioramas. This is just a Mastercraft brush. You can get them all sizes, Hobby Lobby. They're cheap, 10-pack for like $8. Some apple barrel paint, and this acrylic paint I got. It's a new acrylic paint I got for the black washing. It's actually watered down quite nicely, and you might want to add just a couple of drops of water to it for your initial black wash job for your unpainted diorama. So you don't really have to worry about watering it down too much for this. The other good reason to do that is to save paint as well. You don't want to waste a lot of paint covering this all with just straight black. Mixing it also helps. One, get it in the cracks, and two, saves you some money on paint from wasting it. Now, to black wash this, you want this watered down quite a bit. The two apple barrel paints, they're very cheap, 50-cent paints at Walmart. These are actually a couple colors I used for this paint job. We will go over in later videos, and I'll actually be painting this one live, so you'll be able to see the actual process, but I just wanted to break it down with supplies and just kind of so you can see the start of a project to the end of a project. Like I said, I'll record myself painting some of these so you get a better idea, but for me, I like to just see a beginning of a project and close to an end project, so I can get an idea of what I'm looking at, what I'm going towards. So we'll wrap this up and head over back to the camera station and finish it up. I hope this episode has gave you a little more insight on how to paint dioramas. If you like what you see and like the content, please subscribe, please like, and leave any comments of future episodes you would like to see me do. So thanks for tuning in.